soil testing, piling, and then let's analyze how much deep we have to go. And they all realized that Srila Prabhupada knew very well what exactly Krishna wanted. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada was very anxious to start the project of Shri Radha Raspberry Temple. So we find Srila Prabhupada how uniquely knew a lot of things, and he explained this to his disciples and made them serve Krishna in a unique way. Thank you, Prabhuji, for this wonderful offering. We will now call upon His Grace Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu online. And meanwhile, His Grace Madhavanand Prabhu, please be ready online. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. On this very auspicious occasion, I wish to read one very beautiful dedication by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada to his father. The book Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is dedicated to his father. Just reading the dedication by Srila Prabhupada. To my father Gaurmande, 1849 to 1930. A pure devotee of Krishna who raised me as a Krishna conscious child from the very beginning of my life. In my boyhood ages, he instructed me how to play the mridanga. He gave me Radha Krishna Vigraha to worship, and he gave me Jagannath Ratha to duly observe the festival as my childhood play. He was kind to me, and I imbibed from him the ideas, later on solidified by my spiritual master, the Eternal Father. Dedicating the book Krishna to his father was a very special offering of Srila Prabhupada to his father of gratitude, as he explains very wonderfully that whatever he would be able to do later with the grace of his spiritual master was possible by the solid rock foundation laid by his father. In fact, between father and mother, Abhai's father at the time wanted him to become a pure devotee of Krishna, but did not want to become him a brahmachari. He wanted him to get a good guru at that time, but he didn't want to lose his son. And Abhai's mother at that time, Srila Prabhupada's mother, she wanted her son to to study law in London. If you see a very beautiful synthesis taking place later in Srila Prabhupada's life, as I was just meditating, Srila Prabhupada became a great Vaishnava devotee as his father wanted him to, and he fulfilled that beautiful wish of his father. But inadvertently, he also fulfilled the wish of his mother that he became a lawyer. But as per the wishes of his father, he didn't want him to go to London and get corrupted by British practices. That is what is mentioned in the Lilamrita. He wanted his son to be uncorrupted, and therefore he didn't want him to go and study. In fact, he went and sent his son away to Scottish Churches College, to many respectable Vaishnavas would send their children to, because this was one of the lesser schools which actually did not promote Christianity in a very intense way. So wonderfully, if we just look and reflect at Srila Prabhupada's life, I was just making this point that this is a very wonderful analogy, wonderful thing that Srila Prabhupada became a lawyer. He became a lawyer on part of all of us jivas who were convicts in samsara, having committed so many crimes. Crimes not for one life, but for generations, for lifetimes. We were lifetimes convict, and he fought the case for us. He did not see our past record. He saw only the ability and the wish to reform. So he reformed. He was kind enough to accept anyone who was willing to reform. So first he fought for every one of us. He fought for every one of us who wanted to be sincere and dedicated to reforming. Secondly, he also defended the Shastras, the Tattva of the Shastra of our great Vedic heritage. So he fought and defended the personalism of Krishna, of divinity. He established Krishna as the supreme personality of the person. And thirdly, he also fought for the civilization and culture that Bharat represented. So he fought on all fronts. He fought for jivas, he fought for the tattva, and he also fought for Sanskriti. So on this very auspicious day, we are so fortunate that everybody got a chance to get a case which Srila Prabhupada, fortunately, he was a lawyer, and he petitioned the Supreme Court judge, the final decision, Sri Krishna, and fought vehemently for all of us. And he also trained all these convicts to be reformed, to become lawyers under his jurisdiction, to get trained under his very capable lieutenants, to be trained under his very capable um, disciples, students, and his great legacy of the books that he left for us, all of us. So, in fact, our gratitude on this day also to his father, Gaur Mohan De, and also to his mother in one way. Ultimately, he became a lawyer. In fact, I became a very reputed lawyer. So, our humble obeisances to Srila Prabhupada that may we all of us also fight the for what he actually fought for us, Tattva and Sanskriti, and assist him in rescuing the souls or mired in this material existence, and also defend our culture, civilization, and our Shastra, our Tattva of the Shastra, and present it to the world. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, for your wonderful dedicated offering to Srila Prabhupada. Now I would like to call upon His Grace Madhavanand Prabhu to join us online to give offering to Srila Prabhupada. Meanwhile, Nityanand Charan Prabhu in the temple all be ready.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So today, such a happy occasion, but it is on the background of the loss of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. So I was going through this pain of loss of Bhakti Charu Maharaj and couldn't even digest that fact for a long time till His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj gave that offering, and I could understand the transcendental plan behind Bhakti Charu Maharaj's sudden going back to Srila Prabhupada. But still the pain is there, and to relieve that I was reading this book by His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj called as Ocean of Mercy. And what is revealed is so beautiful there that it brings out Srila Prabhupada's uniqueness, that just like His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, so many of them, and including Bhakti Charu Maharaj, all of them, they had interactions with other spiritual leaders. And somehow through them, they were told or they were guided that no, you don't belong here. You belong somewhere else. You belong to Srila Prabhupada. So many of these wonderful disciples of Srila Prabhupada who established International Society for Krishna Consciousness, they were orchestrated in a particular way to assist Srila Prabhupada. And therefore, the great fortune that I have and all of us have is that we are not a part of some movement of some simple spiritual leader, but there is a bigger plan of Krishna in sending Prabhupada and sending his worthy disciples, glorious disciples, to guide and take us on the path of Krishna consciousness. So, while reading this book, I was really wondering how I can commit myself more to serve Srila Prabhupada through the medium of my spiritual master. So I read this, and this is a beautiful thing. I'm reading it from the book Ocean of Mercy. So Bhakti Charu Maharaj is saying here, to help Prabhupada relax at night, I would massage his feet, and as I did, he would often talk to me. One night, sitting up on his bed as I gave him a gentle massage, he lamented, "There is so much to do, but I have become so sick, I am not able to do anything." Srila Prabhupada, I said, what you have done is inconceivable. No one has ever achieved what you have. You should not think that there is anything left that you must do. Now you should just relax. Prabhupada again said, what I have done is 50%. He said, the other 50% is to establish Varnashram Dharma. I did not know what to say, so I remained silent. Prabhupada continued, ISKCON is for the devotees, he said. But not everyone will become a devotee. Not everyone will be able to surrender to Krishna. For those who will not, who will continue to act according to modes of material nature, in order to situate them in the proper human culture, we need Varnashram Dharma. He spoke like this for quite a while. I understood some of what he said, but much of it flew over my head. Clearly, establishing Varnashram Dharma was not going to be easy or simple, but neither had what Srila Prabhupada had already accomplished, that is ISKCON, was also easy. No one had ever achieved what he had. So, reading this particular passage from this book, I can see the great fortune that we have. And I can see also attached to that fortune is a great responsibility that we need to carry on. We need to probably scratch our heads, come together, because we have so many glorious disciples of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, Bhakti Chaur Maharaj, so many of ISKCON people, extremely intelligent people. We need to come together and see how the common mass of people, like Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu said, he was a lawyer of the Sanskriti. So the culture which is centered around Krishna, Samsiddhir Haritoshanam, to promote that, like we have GEV which is trying to do. How many other things what we can do somehow to promote the Varnashram culture in population in general, while focusing also on making people completely surrender their lives to Krishna. So I, on this particular day, taking blessings of my Gurudev and all the Vaishnavas, I want to commit myself further to this task of promoting this Varnashram culture. And that is my offering to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for making me so fortunate by your divine grace to your disciples. Hare Krishna.
We'd like to call upon His Grace Nityanand Charan Prabhu to come and make his offering in the temple hall. Meanwhile, His Grace Vraj Vinod Sham Prabhu, please be ready.
Hare Krishna. So last year I heard somewhere that Srila Prabhupada has surpassed every other personality in the world about whom is the number of books that have been written. And therefore it is a challenge. Sometime back I was speaking to a group of devotees about the life of Srila Prabhupada. And I spoke for almost more than an hour, and I realized by the end of it that I had not even begun. So it's always a challenge where to start and where to end. But in nutshell, just to glorify Srila Prabhupada's special position, we see there are so many organizations today, and most of them have become person-centric. And thing with these organizations is that as soon as that person disappears, the organization also perishes. But this is the glory of Srila Prabhupada. The glory of a personality of what he has initiated is in seeing that after that personality disappears from amongst us, how that thing continues. And if that thing continues even after he has passed away, that shows the potency and the maturity and the power of that personality. And therefore, you see, Srila Prabhupada, after he passed away, the movement has been growing and it will continue to grow as long as we adhere to the principles that Srila Prabhupada has given. So even within the four sampradayas, the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya has a very special position because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. And even within that Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, Srila Prabhupada has a special position. It's not that what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted, any other acharya before him could not have done it. But this task was specially reserved for him. And it is not a coincidence that Srila Prabhupada's birthday is celebrated along with Krishna's birthday, Nandotsav. This was a special arrangement by Krishna, and all devotees can understand this. And therefore, he has a very, very special position. And our only qualification is that we are connected to him. And to the degree we acknowledge that connection and we give all the credit to him, to that very degree we will be empowered by Krishna. And to the degree we take the credit for ourselves, to that very degree we will feel disempowered. Once this incident is there where Tamal Krishna Maharaj had a dream which he shared with Srila Prabhupada, where Maharaj mentioned that he was there and many other devotees of ISKCON were there. And then there was Lord Brahma and the other great personalities of the universe. And Lord Brahma was chastising Tamal Krishna Maharaj. You people are useless, good for nothing. There's no hope for all of you. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, I told Lord Brahma that that doesn't matter, but we are attached to Prabhupada. And he said, as soon as I said that, everyone, including Brahma, they started clapping. He said, yes, you're right. That is the qualification. This is your qualification. And Tamal Kadambakanan Maharaj, many years back, he came. He also was glorifying Srila Prabhupada's special position. And he said, Srila Prabhupada, the connection with Srila Prabhupada is so special that just that connection is our saving grace. We might be sinful, we might be fallen, but that connection will save us. Because we are connected to Prabhupada, that Krishna will definitely shower his grace upon us. And he said, just like if we go to the gates of Golok Vrindavan after we leave this world, we will be stopped at the gate by the doorkeeper. No, you cannot enter because you have so much karma left, you have so many things to finish. But then somebody will say, come up and say, no, but he's Prabhupada's man. And the person would say, oh, Prabhupada's man, let him go. And Srila Prabhupada also accepted this when he told his disciples that you try to become 100% pure. And they were looking at his, okay, said 75, 50%. He said, do not worry. Even if you can't do that, just hold on to my dhoti because I have a key to the back door of Vaikuntha. Now, Vaikuntha is not a place where one can easily enter. So one has to be a very, very confidential personality in that realm to say something like that, to allow entry to anybody. Just like during festivals, we have the gates closed, but somebody from inside, somebody who's confidential, he can get us inside. So Srila Prabhupada he humbly accepted that he created our qualification. And with this statement, he also humbly accepted that what a confidential position he has in the Lord's associates. And simply, even if we are not able to do anything substantial, if we just remain connected to him, we will be delivered. And that's why His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj always, at least once in his lectures, he would mention, no matter what happens, but never leave ISKCON. If you just stay within ISKCON, you will cross over this ocean of material world. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Nityanand Charan Prabhu, for your wonderful offering. We'd like to call upon His Grace Vraj Vinod Sham Prabhu to come and make his offering. Meanwhile, His Grace Radhika Raman Prabhu, kindly be ready. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langati krimit kurpatam Shri Guru Dhyata. I was reading about collective memory. Collective memory is defined as that memory which refers to the shared pool of memories, knowledge, and information of social group that is significantly associated with the group's identity. Now, when we think about the collective memory of ISKCON, it has to be Srila Prabhupada. Because none of us, or many of us, at least in my generation, have not seen him walking around the earth, not at least in his Vapu. So, but even then, our memory about ISKCON is fondly attached to what Srila Prabhupada has given us. ISKCON is actually a gift which is wrapped up by our spiritual grandfather very lovingly to all of us, a limitless, a bottomless gift, a gift which never will get finished for us, for the next generations altogether. Now, if we just have this gratitude towards Prabhupada, that itself will take us many miles, because in the word kritagnya means one who knows what the other person has done to him, and so he has the gratitude and he's thankful. The other opposite is kritagna, to forget what the other person has done. So these kind of instances these days, if we are able to recollect, keep on recollecting day in, day out what Prabhupada has done for us, our life is going to be very, very successful. See, if when I read the preface to Bhagavad Gita, at the end, Srila Prabhupada ends, I'm paraphrasing, but it says that even if one of the devotees who read Bhagavad Gita as it is becomes a pure devotee, I will consider my attempts to be a success. We all actually say that our goal of life is Krishna Prem. So in one way, we could be that devotee who is attempt to becoming a pure devotee. So Srila Prabhupada is speaking about probably us, that if we become pure devotees, then he considers successful. See, what should I do? I should consider that every word which is written in any of his books to be a direct instruction for me. I was hearing His Grace Amarendra Prabhu's lecture, in that he was saying how we could do this in all his purports. If we start every purport, which is written as Dear Vraja Vinoda Shamadas, received your letter dated so and so, noted the contents, please accept my blessings. And then the entire purport, and the end it says, your ever well-wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. It becomes so very personal. If somebody says it's just an Indian man who went to the West and established ISKCON, it becomes very, very impersonal. But if it is said that it is for me whom he went for, it is for me that he actually went on Jaladuta for 30 days and suffered 2 heart attacks en route. It is for me. It is for me he went and established ISKCON. It is for me that he stood outside Sumati Morarji Mataji's office, facing innumerable rejections, and then getting disappointed, and then still going day in and day out, waiting for just one S to get a seat in wherever in Jaladut. It is for me that he went. It is for me that before establishing ISKCON, he was wandering around in the heat-blazed Delhi roads and Meerut roads. After writing a few editions of Back to Godhead magazine, it was for me that he suffered a sunstroke. It is because of me or for me and to establish ISKCON for me that he actually got hit by a bull on the road and just lied around there. It is for me that he did all these things. If we understand that, then our life becomes that much more focused. It is said that a person who is very successful, he's always having his goal in front of him. Our goal, my goal, should be to actually find an opportunity to say thank you to Srila Prabhupada. for doing all these things. My Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapadak Swami Maharaj, was having memories of Srila Prabhupada, and I was listening to it. He was saying one of the memories is that Prabhupada was giving a class to his disciples and Westerners long time ago. He was pounding the point that you have to surrender yourself completely to Krishna. Then he saw the confused look on his disciples' face. He was just finishing the lecture, and then he walked up and he was just about to get down. And he said, even 90%, if you surrender, it is okay. He will go back to Krishna. Then he was walking down the steps and he said, even 80%, if you surrender to Krishna, you will go back to him. Then he was walking away, and then his chadar was flowing, and he just put up the chadar on his shoulders and his signature style with his chin up. He walked away while saying, even 70%, if you surrender to Krishna, he'll take you back. This is a deal which our dear grandfather, spiritual grandfather, has done with Krishna. That even 70% you surrender, it's fine. This deal is amazing. You know, if we see in the cosmic sense, one lifetime is just a flash in the pan. One flash in the pan. And what do you get in return for surrendering to Krishna and dedicating this life to Prabhupada? Krishna Prem. It's an amazing deal. It's an amazing deal, and it's a steal. We should all take it. So, and this day, with a lot of gratitude, I would like to offer my obeisances to Prabhupada and all the devotees who have helped ISKCON be what ISKCON is. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I'd like to call upon His Grace Radhika Raman Prabhu to kindly come and make his offering. Meanwhile, Radha Devuti Prabhu and then Chaitanya Leela Prabhu in temple all be ready.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Your signature has the words, your ever well-wisher. It's such an apt and such a true definition that you have given, your ever well-wisher. Your life has shown and is a picture in front of us which really shows that you are a real well-wisher. All started with you were staying in Radha Damodar temple, where everybody retires in their last stage of life in Vrindavan, but you began your journey from there, the journey of ISKCON. You used to cry in front of the Samadhi of Srila Rupa Goswami during night. Just praying for the blessing of Rupa Goswami to give you the power to fulfill the desire of your spiritual master. You toiled so much to distribute your magazines. Finally, you managed to come to Mumbai, met Srimati Murarji, sat on the steps of her office. The Acharya of the world sitting on the steps of somebody's office. Why? Just for the compassion. Just you wanted to share what your Guru Maharaj had instructed you with all of us. Had you not done this, Prabhupada, ISKCON, it would be a dream, and so many devotees who are now in you build ISKCON, and seeing Gaudiya Math, you build ISKCON in such a way that it is such a great fence that if anybody is there in that fence, he is secure. You have given in ISKCON everything which is required required for us to go back to Godhead. All aspects have been covered. You were so compassionate and so much uh, attentive to all small things, small needs of your disciples. To quote few, you used to get saris for your disciple Matajis. And I remember one pastime of yours where you managed to get saris for many of the Matajis, Malati Mataji and other Matajis. And Govinda Dasi Mataji was there, and you gave her pink sari, and she was so happy. That small things which you have given your disciples have really registered so much feeling for you. And it was not out of just a show, but your feeling for them. You tolerated so many things in ISKCON. You have built ISKCON in such a way that the devotees of the present generation and to come in the future are so secure. They don't have to do anything, just follow your instructions, read your books. You toiled day and night, gave us nice literatures, and it is said, if you just read your books, our life will be perfect. Srila Prabhupada, you have given us ISKCON, and it's really thankful for all that you have given us. ISKCON is such a place that once you come in, you don't feel like going. And I pray at your lotus feet that I can serve my Guru Maharaj and the Vaishnavas in your mission, in the mood of servant of the servants. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Radhika Raman Prabhu, for your wonderful offering. I'd like to call upon His Grace Radha Prabhu to kindly come and make his offering. Meanwhile, Chaitanya Leela Prabhu, kindly be ready.
Both of them, they didn't know each other, but they had implicit faith in your words. And based on that faith, and with a deep desire to fulfill your mission, they just went ahead and got married. And then the rest, as they say, is history. Another couple of yours, disciples, that comes to my mind is again Bhurijan Prabhu and Jagat Tarini Mataji. Jagat Tarini Mataji was a very established film actress in Australia. And while she was touring America, she met you and she got inspired by your teachings. And then one fine day you just ask her to go to Hong Kong where you have your disciple Bhurijan Prabhu and ask her to get married to him. So the kind of faith and the kind of commitment to your words that these disciples of yours have exhibited, and by such commitment, the kind of miraculous activities that they have performed is really amazing. So on this most auspicious day, dear Prabhupada, I pray at your lotus feet that I get a drop, not even a drop actually, that might be too big, an atom of the kind of faith that these disciples of yours have exhibited. If I can even have an atom of that kind of faith, I would be able to do some worthwhile service in your mission. Thank you very much, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Radhati Prabhu. I'd like to call upon Chaitanya Leela Prabhu to kindly come ahead and give his offering. Meanwhile, Govind Prabhu, kindly be ready.
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. Actually, there could be many more devotees who deserve to be here and express their gratitude. Still, I would like to ponder once again on the exceptional gifts that you have bestowed upon us, Srila Prabhupada. We have heard how Krishna arranges to attract and rescue the conditioned souls from the forest of material existence in a variety of ways. Of all these avenues of help, the acharyas coming in the bona fide disciplic successions hold a very special position. And you, Srila Prabhupada, have demonstrated in a variety of ways how you are an empowered representative of Krishna. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for the wide variety of gifts that you have offered to us. You have blessed us with the understanding of theological variety. While the whole world is plagued with the misunderstanding of nothingness and oneness of Bhagwan and Jiva, your teachings have helped us understand the variety and hierarchy in which the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, he manifests, manages, and nourishes this entire creation. You have blessed us with the variety of your books that help us understand this theological variety of the Supreme Lord. Be it the absolute truths of Krishna consciousness, the scientific understanding of Krishna consciousness, the historical examples of Krishna consciousness, the practical guidelines for executing Krishna consciousness, your books contain all of these, Srila Prabhupada. I also can't help but admit that I have found immense depth and wisdom in the variety of your recordings, be it the temple classes, the airport addresses, press conferences, or your morning walk conversations with your disciples. You have blessed us with the variety of your illustrious disciples who by their example have been toiling hard to help the plant of ISKCON grow to newer and newer heights and in newer and newer fronts. You have blessed us with a society that has a huge variety of devotees from different parts of the world who by their example are a source of a variety of inspiration for us. And what to speak of the variety of prasad that is available within your society, Srila Prabhupada. You have blessed us with the variety of services in your movement so that we can not only understand Krishna consciousness from a theoretical perspective, but also realize these subtle principles. However, I am here standing today with a variety of challenges before me to grow in my Krishna consciousness. As the Kali Yuga is progressing with an increasing variety of sense objects all around, increasing distractions all around, I just desire to hold on to your lotus feet, Srila Prabhupada, more sincerely to be saved from it all. As progressing bit by bit, preaching is becoming increasingly difficult due to all of these distractions. You have taught us that Krishna Shakti nahi bina tara pravartan. I hope and pray that I please you in some way or the other to be blessed by you with this Krishna Shakti to counteract all these preaching challenges. Repeating the words of Saint Francis of Assisi, it is my humble prayer unto you. Make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring love. Where there is darkness, let me bring light. And where there is sadness, let me bring joy. His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Chaitanya Prabhu, for your wonderful offering. Now we would like to call upon His Grace Govind Prabhu to kindly make his offering, and then after that we'll have His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj make his offering.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. You build a house where everyone can live, in fact. In fact, he taught the principle of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. One of the statement which you would always make in your books, in your talks, in your lectures, which always rings in my mind, that is doubting one's propensity in Krishna's service. My propensity, and that is connected to Krishna. That is Vaishnavism, as you mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita purport also. Yat karoshi yadashnasi yat joshi dadasiyat. And where does this happen? Such principle can only be executed in the home. Because home is the place where a father in the home has the large heartedness to create a system which is not in the forefront, but what is there in the forefront? Forefront is affection is in the forefront, and efficiency is in the background. If the efficiency comes in the forefront at the cost of affection, as you mentioned to devotees, once there is a bureaucracy, the whole thing will be spoiled. There must be always be individual striving, work and responsibility, competitive spirit. Not that one shall dominate and distribute benefits to others, and they do nothing but beg from you and you provide. Srila Prabhupada, what I saw, what I've experienced, reading about you, hearing about you, is the ability. You are very sportive. You challenged your god brothers, you challenged Americans, you challenged Indian, you challenge your students, not for hurting them, but firing the spirit of contribution. Unfortunately, sometimes we take your strong statement and we try to imitate those statements, thinking that by chastising people, we are being very truthful and being loyal. But in firing the spirit of people, basically, as a father, you are giving us an opportunity for every individual to discover his own self. What is that I have which I have to contribute in your service? And therefore, you wrote this letter because somebody wanted to create such a system, to make a home into office. But you again reminded, no, it is a home. Yes, office is there. But what is more important? The home is more important, because home has the power to handle limitless diversity and create an amazing unity. And it is my good fortune that I've been part of this Radha Gopinath temple for last 33 years, Prabhupada, that I was able to see this beautiful diversity and unity under the care of your wonderful disciple, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. Has the great, I'm speaking this on your appearance day. Yesterday I was sharing one story with Gaur Gopal Prabhu. In the battle of Mahabharat, when Arjuna had to fight one of the most emotional battle after the death of his son Abhimanyu. It was not easy, because Arjuna, after all, is a father, very sensitive, very kind father, and he was very, very closely connected to Abhimanyu, who was also very dear to Krishna. And that was an emotional battle, and from the very beginning to end, Krishna's contribution in guiding Arjuna is amazing. And the most endearing principle is, after the battle was over, when Arjuna was able to bring down Jayadratha, and how much Krishna glorified Arjuna, as if that Krishna had become fan of his own devotee. This is one of the most fascinating quality of Krishna. And Prabhupada, you also have the same quality, to be fascinated by your own student, doing something wonderful. And seeing this, and it is important for me to
experience and explain this gratitude, because bhakti is not simply theoretical. Bhakti is not, big words. Bhakti is day-to-day experience. And we have seen from very beginning this principle of unity and diversity. I come from a very small town, a small background with an ordinary education, but I was allowed to contribute according to my capacity. As you explained, this is the home, everybody can do something, doubtle their propensity. You can shoulder with some of the biggest names in India. Why? Because Maharaj did that such a wonderful work where even highly qualified people with a cultural background, highly qualified people with a reckless, liberal, atheistic, obnoxious background, highly cultured people coming from a small town, highly, unorganized people coming from a small place, elderly people, wealthy people, poor people coming from different kinds of background were able to come in one place, continue to hold their individual identity, and integrate in the kirtan and in devotional service of Krishna. And I can, Srila Prabhupada say, in these hours, whether it is pandemic or limitless division in the society, the larger society of India, America, Europe, everybody is focusing on this life matters or that life matters, playing around this against that. We need more of such understanding which Maharaj naturally practiced. He practiced it naturally. I remember talking to his father. He was glorifying his son, which is Radhanath Swami, but at the same time he said, I also love my other sons. Even though compared to what Maharaj is contributing, their contribution to the world may not be anywhere close. But he had the conscious gratitude and affection, as much discovering what this son is doing. He was also conscious to say, but I also love these two of my sons. And therefore, Prabhupada, thank you for giving such a wonderful disciple of yours who can help us, who can trust us, who can help us to discover our identity. And ultimately, all that has to be contributed in the service of Krishna as you taught. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, once again for giving us the experience of limitless unity and diversity. Thank you.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Govind Prabhu, for your wonderful offering. You always bring a unique point and unique angle to Srila Prabhupada's wonderful contribution in our life. At this point, I would like to call upon His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj to kindly make his offering to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbhishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyate Shatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patithanam Bhavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I am very grateful for the sincere words of devotion and gratitude that have been spoken by all of the previous speakers, and sincerely grateful to each and every one of you, wherever you may be, for being with us today. Today, the most auspicious day of the appearance of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Vyas Puja, is being celebrated by millions of people in all parts of the world. I'm just thinking back to this day in 1965. Srila Prabhupada was all alone on the cargo ship Jaladuta. He was just near the coast of Cochin on the western part of India. He had nothing. He had no one. He left Sri Vrindavan Dham on the order of his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, to bring the glories of Krishna, the glories of pure devotional service to the Western world, and actually to the whole world. But here he was, just a few days before he had his heart attacks. His birthday took place when he was just sitting alone. No one even knew he was on that ship except a few people. And then he crossed the oceans and the continents, and he came to the United States, New York, and struggled with nothing. In fact, it was years in India previous to coming to the West that he struggled with practically no external results. But now, his beautiful samadhi in Vrindavan, his magnificent Pushpa samadhi in Mayapur, his Vyasasan in the very center of hundreds and hundreds of temples on every continent on earth, his photo on the altar of millions of people in their homes, his books, hundreds of millions, have been distributed. I am remembering a particular lecture Srila Prabhupada gave in 1968 in Seattle, Washington, where he was explaining how his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, was appearing to him in dreams. Srila Prabhupada said at that time he was in household life. He was taking care of children, wife, business. And in these recurring dreams, his Guru Maharaj would call him to become a sannyasi so he could spread Lord Chaitanya's message throughout the world. And at this time, Srila Prabhupada, you could hear in his voice, he was crying, choked up, crying. He said, my Guru Maharaj, he saved me from material existence. He tore me out of this material world. And then Srila Prabhupada, he spoke to the few devotees that were there in 1968. He said, but see how Krishna reciprocates. I had 3 children, Prabhupada said, and now I have over 300 children. Just see how Krishna has reciprocated. And Srila Prabhupada was with such divine sincerity thanking all of his children for assisting him in carrying out the mission of his Guru Maharaj. Today, Srila Prabhupada has hundreds and hundreds and thousands of children. And Srila Prabhupada, as was said, in a very personal way, is thanking us for any efforts we make to assist him. His gratitude is such an example of what Vaishnavism truly is. Srila Prabhupada, such a liberated personality from the spiritual world. From his earliest childhood, he was worshiping Sri Sri Radha Govinda. He was conducting Ratha Yatras. As a Grihastha in the Gaudiya Math, he was given the exalted title of Bhakti Vedanta for his incredible knowledge of the scriptures, of the essence of all Vedanta, which is Bhakti, for his incredible, wonderful kirtans, for his total dedication. Prabhupada, such an extraordinary person, but yet he's crying, saying, my Guru Maharaj saved me from material existence. It's that type of humility and gratitude that was at the very core of his heart in relationship to his spiritual master and Sri Sri Radha Krishna. That is so much how the message and the grace of the Lord has come to all of us. When Srila Prabhupada wrote that he was a puppet in the hands of Krishna, just wants to dance according to how Krishna makes him dance. In his diary on Jaladuta, he wrote, in deep separation, that I am feeling so far from my home in Vrindavan. Radha Damodar, Radha Govinda, Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Gopinath, so far. And I'm missing them so much. But I am here because this is the order of my spiritual master and the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Prabhupada, his heart was so grateful. And in bhakti, dedication is not just about a theoretical, intellectual, or emotional commitment to something. In bhakti, dedication is rooted in our deep gratitude, in the humility of our gratitude for receiving the blessings, the grace, the mercy of our spiritual masters and Krishna. That's who Srila Prabhupada is forever. Srila Prabhupada, he signed that beautiful poem, An Insignificant Beggar. And even when he was the acharya of a worldwide movement, where every day tremendous successes were coming and tremendous challenges as well, he was always in that mood, insignificant beggar in his heart. Even when receiving glorious Guru Pujas or Vyas Pujas, he was expressing his gratitude. And the dedication that is born of one who is grateful for the gift of bhakti that they receive, that dedication is the wonderful truth that Krishna manifests himself through to the world. Srila Prabhupada, although he worked so hard, it was practically effortless. Although he was struggling in so many ways with his health, with oppositions, with poverty, with disciples who were making mistakes. Even those struggles seemed quite effortless in the spirit that he would never give up. Maya could not provide an excuse for him to give up because he was so deeply grateful to his Guru Maharaj, so deeply grateful to the previous acharyas of Parampara, so deeply grateful for Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. And he established temples of Gaur Nitai throughout the world. Previous to Srila Prabhupada, outside of Bengal and Odisha, hardly anyone, even in India, knew about Lord Chaitanya, what to speak of Lord Nityananda or the Panchatattva. But now, everywhere, Srila Prabhupada's gratitude was to give his Guru and to give Krishna to everyone. And as our Acharya, he showed us how. When he wrote that beautiful poem to his Guru Maharaj for the Vyas Puja, this was sometime around 1930 in Mumbai. And Srila Prabhupada wrote, "Absolute is sentient, thou hast proved. Impersonal calamity, thou have removed." Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he appreciated that so much. He would read it to people, all sorts of people, devotees, dignitaries, because Srila Prabhupada, who's Bhava Grahi, his love for his Guru Maharaj, his gratitude to his Guru Maharaj, enabled him, empowered him to understand the very essence of the heart of his Guru Maharaj. And he was presenting this personal conception of the absolute truth. And Srila Prabhupada proved it not only in his poem, not only in his books, but in his life. Because personalism is the very core of Vaishnava philosophy and the core of Vaishnava culture. How much Srila Prabhupada emphasized Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching. Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayora Dasa Dasa Dasanudas. To be the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord of the Gopis. This Gopi Bhartur Padakamala, that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is bringing us to this stage of the ultimate perfection of liberation. The absolute truth, who is the supreme personality of Godhead, who is the Lord of the Gopis. Krishna's relationship with the Gopis is the deepest personal exchange of love. It's the highest in the sense that every other type of love in all of existence, in its purest state, is included in the love of the Gopis. And the nature of the love of the Gopis is every Gopi is assisting Srimati Radharani, who is Krishna's supreme beloved. Assisting her are the Sakis, assisting them are the Manjaris. Goloka Vrindavan in its highest, sweetest, purest state. Everyone is the servant of the servant of the servant. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he taught through his example, through his prayers, that every Vaishnava who is a devotee of Krishna, we want to be a servant to. How we serve them, that may be determined by our particular role, their particular role, the particular time, place, or circumstance. These things may differentiate how we best serve. But in all cases, a devotee is only motivated by being the servant of the servant of the servant. Srila Prabhupada himself told us that you are all representatives of my Guru Maharaj. And please understand, Srila Prabhupada is speaking about each and every one of you, about each and every one of us, in all generations within ISKCON, which is Srila Prabhupada's contribution to his Guru and the Parampara. Srila Prabhupada saw all of us as representatives of his Guru Maharaj. In his gratitude to his Guru Maharaj, how much he personally cared for everyone. His Guru Maharaj said we should, each and every devotee should be willing to shed buckets and buckets of blood to help others, to help even one person become Krishna conscious. Srila Prabhupada took that spirit as his life and soul. And he's teaching us. He's giving us the gift of that aspiration, of that state of consciousness. Srila Prabhupada was pleased if someone sincerely offered him a little wild flower that they just picked from the ground. I've seen it. Or if someone distributed 1,000,000 books. Or if someone built a magnificent temple. Wherever Srila Prabhupada saw devotees in a personal way, sincerely trying to assist each other to help him in this movement, Srila Prabhupada was so deeply grateful. And when Srila Prabhupada told us how we should love each other and we should cooperate with each other, that is not just a detail. That is a major proponent of Srila Prabhupada's teaching. It is inseparable from how we make spiritual advancement, how we actually take this mood and this spirit of being the servant of the servant and the servant. And the more we become a leader among any group of people, the more we're supposed to be deeply rooted in this spirit of being servant of the servant of the servant. To what extent? Trinadapi sunichena, taror api sahishnuna, amani namana dena kirtaniya sadahari. Srila Prabhupada gave us the holy names of Krishna, the prime benediction for all humanity. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtana. Harinama, Harinama, Harinama Eva Kevalam. The only way to awaken love of God within our hearts. Srila Prabhupada, he chanted for us. He chanted with us, and he inspired us to chant with each other. And he also taught this principle, this, what Srila Prabhupada told his beloved god brother, O.B.L. Kapoor. It was the secret medicine that actually awakens within our heart the capacity to be completely purified and cleansed when we chant the holy names. And that's our eagerness to cooperate, our eagerness to show our gratitude, to be grateful and show our gratitude as the deciding factor of all of our choices in life. Recently, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj was taken by Srila Prabhupada, as have been over the years so many of Srila Prabhupada's most intimate, loving, dedicated disciples. Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj really took the essence of that spirit of Srila Prabhupada and made it his life and soul, and pleaded and begged with all of us to understand it, to practice it. Srila Prabhupada's Vyas Puja is a special day that we are hopeful will charge us, nourish us with a deep focus on all the reasons we have to be grateful to Srila Prabhupada and all the reasons to express our gratitude through the way we live, the way we treat each other, the way we perform our sadhana, and the way we are united to share this gift with the whole of India and with the whole of every continent all over the world. On this very holy day, I am thanking each and every one of you because I have seen over the years so many challenges, so many inconceivable difficulties, so many reasons to fight, so many reasons to argue. They come inevitably in this age of Kali Yuga. But how prevailing overall, so many of you have sustained this very sincere, dedicated, surrendered, humble, grateful spirit. And that has kept our communities together. And I see Srila Prabhupada smiling upon all of you. Thank you very much. I pray that His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada's mercy and His blessings may shower upon each of you in such a way that you can taste the sweet nectar of being the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord of the Gopis of Sri Vrindavan Dham, our eternal sweet home. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj, for your beautiful offering. You very wonderfully took us on a journey of Srila Prabhupada before coming to America and during his preaching in America all over the world. That how Srila Prabhupada was always very grateful and dedicated to his Guru Maharaj and the whole parampara. You also beautifully mentioned how Srila Prabhupada was single-pointed determination to continue on and on to serve his Guru Maharaj and to serve Krishna. Especially you highlighted how Srila Prabhupada uniquely gave us Srimad Bhagavatam in the English language and also made access Gaur-Nita deities all over the world and also spread the holy names of Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj, for having inspired all of us here in this community, for taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada. You yourself are a very wonderful, great example for all of us, of example of gratitude and dedication to Srila Prabhupada. And especially in this month of August, there are so many beautiful festivals and we all are actually missing each other's association physically. We are not able to come to temple and we are all at our own homes. But yet because you agreed to come online and give us wonderful lectures, we find that all the devotees are coming online. So many devotees. Yesterday in your Krishna Janmashtami lecture, around 1,800 devotees joined online. Look like an entire big family coming together. So thank you, Maharaj, for your wonderful time and energy, for coming and giving us lectures on Balram Jayanti, Shri Krishna Janmashtami yesterday, and today also again for Srila Prabhupada's appearance festival. Thank you, Maharaj, for your wonderful time and energy. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So at this time, we'd like to call upon all the devotees, wherever they are, to join us in offering our Pushpanjali to Srila Prabhupada. So wherever we are, we can come now and offer flowers of our love and devotion either physically or in our mind. And at this time, I like to request His Grace Radharati Prabhu to come ahead and lead us into the chanting of Pushpanjali prayers. And thereafter, we will have Srila Prabhupada's Guru Puja Aarti. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Vyas Puja Maha Mahotsav ki jai.
ॐ अज्ञान तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः। ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमः। ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती इति नामिने श्रीवार्षभानवी देवी दयिताय कृपाब्धये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्योज्वल प्रेमाढ्य श्री रूपानुग भक्तिद श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुग विरुद्ध अपसिद्धांत ध्वांतहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलंबर सांबोधे पादाम्बुजायते नमः। नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते गौराविर्भाव भूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सज्जन प्रियः वैष्णवः सार्वभौमः श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। जयतां सुरतौ पंगोर मम मंद मतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्व पदाम्भोजौ राधा मदन मोहनौ दिव्याद् वृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमाधः श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद् राधा श्रील गोविंद देवौ प्रेष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानौ स्मरामि। श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भी वंशीवटतटस्थितः कर्षणवेणुस्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रियेस्तु नः। तप्तकाञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। एष पुष्पांजलि His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravindam Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Esha Pushpanjali. His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravindam Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Esha Pushpanjali. His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravindavate Nanda Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jayo Srila Prabhupada. Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada, Jayo Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Prabhupada. Jayo, Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Prabhupada. Jayo, Jayo Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakti Sadma. Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakti Sadma. Vando Moi Savatana Mate. Vando Moi Savadana Mate. Jar prasade bhai, he bhavatoriya jahan. Jar prasade bhai, he bhavatoriya jahan. कृष्ण प्राप्ति हो जहाँ होइते कृष्ण प्राप्ति हो जहाँ होइते गुरु मुखा पद्मा वाक्य चीते ते कोरिया आख्या गुरु मुखा पद्मा वाक्य चीते ते कोरिया ऐक्य आरना कोरी हो माने आशा आरना कोरी हो माने आशा श्री गुरु चरणे रति हे से उत्तम गति श्री गुरु चरणे रति हे से उत्तम गति जे प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा जे प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते वेद गाय जहाँ रचरितो वेद गाय जहाँ रचरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम जनर बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम जनर बंधु लोकना लोकेरा जीवाना लोकना लोकेरा जीवाना हा हा प्रभु करो दया रे हमरे पद छाया ha Prabhu koro doya de hamore pa. Prabhupada koro doya de hamore pada chaya. Guru Deva koro doya de hamore pada chaya. He Vedan Gushu Pribhuvana. He Vedan Gushu Pribhuvana. Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana. Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Prabhupada. Jayo, Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Prabhupada. Jayo, Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev. Nitai go Haribo, 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 go to Haribo. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada. Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jayo Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Go Haribo, 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 Go Haribo. Nitai Go Haribo, 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 Go Haribo. Nitai Go Haribo, 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 Go Haribo. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Srila Prabhupada ki Samaveda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jayom Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotarashad Srimad Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jayo Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotarashat Shri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki Brajabhumi Shri Vrindavan Dham ki Navadvip Shri Mayapur Dham ki Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki Ganga Maya Jamuna Maya ki Bhakti Devi Srimati Tulsi Maharani ki Kali Yuga Pavan Shri Harinam Sankirtana ki Golokera Premadan Shri Harinam Sankirtana ki Samaveda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Guru Puja ki Srila Prabhupada Avirbhav Maha Mahotsav ki Shri Krishna Janmashtami Maha Mahotsav ki Samaveda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga.